Welcome to the Matrix. There is a game that is being played right now, and you don't even know that you are in it. You wake up, you check your phone, you work, you chase goals, you accumulate things, you climb ladders. You think you're winning. But here's the thing, most people who look successful are actually losing the game. They are losing because they are playing by the rules of the game. And the rules of the game are designed to keep you trapped inside. The real problem is this. You are playing a game where the rules of the game are hidden from you. The goalposts keep moving. You get one thing and suddenly you need the next. You achieve one goal and three more appear. You secure your position and you're still afraid of losing it. And every single day you play this game unconsciously, you are reinforcing the chains that are keeping you trapped. But what if I tell you something that can change everything? And what if the secret is not hidden deeper in the game, but in transcending it entirely? In the next 15 minutes, you are going to understand the architecture of this game. You are going to discover how this game that we call the universe is designed and who designed it. And more importantly, how to play it without being controlled by it. This is not theory, this is the practical mechanics of reality that comes from 1,000-year-old wisdom that will transform how you live forever. With that, let's quickly come to this diagram which gives you the entire picture of how this game is designed and how you should actually approach it. Now, the name given to this game, this matrix, this universe in the ancient Vedanta is Maya. So, we might use certain terms interchangeably throughout this video, and that's fine. We can call this the game, the matrix, Maya, the universe, and so on. But we are ultimately referring to this reality, this dualistic world in which we are experiencing things and in which we are living currently. Let's first break down the architecture of this game and different components within it. First of all, there is the game itself, which is this simulation, which is this Maya, which is this universe. Then there is God or the architect of the game. After that comes the entire universe. And when it comes to the game itself, the matrix itself, there are three primary components. Swami Vivekananda once said, Maya has three aspects to it, three components to it. Those are time, space, and causality. So all these three components put together is what we call the game or Maya. And let's understand these components one by one. Time is the psychological experience of time. Right here, right now, you feel that time is passing and you are experiencing this reality in something called time. Deep down, for every experience, there is a psychological association of time. That is what we mean by time here. And then comes space. Space is another primary component to this game, to this matrix, which is the space that we are experiencing all around us. Right here, right now, I'm speaking and there is a distance between me and the camera, and you right now are watching this video once it has been recorded and published, and there is a gap between your screen and your eyes. Now that is space. Space is in and through everything. Space is within which the entire game is being played. It is sort of a canvas for this game to happen. This is another primary component which we all see and experience. Then comes causality. Causality is the experience of cause and effect. Wherever there is a tree, there should be a seed. Wherever there is a seed, there should have been a tree, and so on. For every cause, there is an effect. For every effect, there is a cause within this manifested universe within Maya. Now, these three components put together are the primary parameters within which the game unfolds, within which the experience happens. Now, these are the foundational pillars for the architecture of this game that we call life. And once time comes into picture, there is creation, there is sustenance, and there is dissolution. And in ancient Sanatana Dharma, these three dimensions were represented by Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, the creator, the sustainer, and ultimately the destroyer. Because time is always cyclical in nature. Day comes after night, night comes after day, seasons come after each other, and in this way, whenever we speak about time, there is repetition and there are cycles. So, the ultimate cycle is creation, sustenance, and dissolution, where the entire universe is said to go through the creation phase, the sustenance phase, and the dissolution phase. And right now, here and now, we are in the sustenance phase. That is why we are able to have this experience in this manifested universe. And now let's talk about you. Who are you in this game? You are the individual identity, the individual ego, and at ACS we use the small letter I to represent this individual identity and ego. Now this is the game character. This individual identity, this ego is currently playing the game and it is having different individual experiences. It is interacting with other objects within the game. This identity has a house, it has a job, it has a relationship, it also has a connection, a relationship with another person within the game, with their own personal reality, and so on. This character is doing a lot of things within this Maya, within this dimension, to live its life and to evolve and level up. And not just this, each and every individual within the game, each character of the game have their own individual personal reality. We all have our personal experiences when it comes to our health, wealth, relationships, our inner peace, our spiritual evolution, whatever it is, each and every one of us have our own personal reality as though we are in our own personal universe. Our individual experience is very unique to us, right? Two people can sit in the park and they can view the sunrise, and both of them can have completely different experiences. If someone is going through depression, stress, anxiety, that sunrise is meaningless. In fact, it might be very irritating for them. At the same time, for another person, it can be the most beautiful thing that that person has experienced in life. So this circle around a person within the game represents their personal reality, how they are experiencing their life within the bigger circle of the universe, which is a shared reality and a shared experience. So that is the bigger circle, which is the shared reality, whereas the smaller circle represents the personal reality. Now this is the structure of the game. There is God, which is the architect of the game, which is the fundamental reality, which can be looked at as the source code of the game. If we look at a computer simulation, there will be a source code which sort of is the fundamental code behind the game. If you have watched the movie The Matrix, the very design of the matrix, the very code of the matrix is sort of the primordial fundamental reality for that simulation. Similarly, there is a reality right here, right now, which is fundamental, which exists in me, which exists in you, which exists in and through everything. The Chandogya Upanishad says Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, which means every aspect of this universe and every aspect of this game is being pervaded by one fundamental reality. That is God, that is consciousness, that is the architect in a way. Although it will be ultimately wrong to label it as an architect, because Vedanta goes on to say this fundamental reality technically doesn't create anything. It simply is the foundation for everything, and just because it is the foundation and it is the essence of reality, we are calling it that just for the sake of understanding with respect to today's theme. And so there is God or the architect of the game. There is the game character, which is you and me, who are within the simulation, who are within this game, who are playing this game, and who are stuck, who don't know what to do. We are suffering. That is the problem. The entire point of this video is not to go through a very elaborate lesson on metaphysics, but it is to diagnose the root problem and to find a solution to it. The root problem is this. Now, each character within the game is sort of stuck, says Vedanta. They are unconscious. They don't know how the entire game is structured, what are the rules of the game, and they don't even know who they are in their essence. That is the problem. And what Vedanta proposes is something truly radical. And if you can truly begin to understand this, your life will never be the same from today. Vedanta goes on to say this individual ego, this individual identity, that is the small I, ultimately is nothing but the big I, that is consciousness, that is the architect itself. So you are ultimately not the character of the game, but you are the architect itself who is temporarily experiencing this reality within this simulation. That's why they say you are not the body which has a spirit, but you are the spirit which is experiencing the body temporarily. It's very, very important to understand. And Ashtavakra says in Ashtavakra Gita, I don't exist in the universe, but the entire universe exists within me. This is very radical, but this is ultimately the truth that we can experience in reality. This is not theory, but this was a living reality for thousands of rishis in ancient India. That the entire universe was a happening. It's like the entire universe and this time, space, and causality is sort of a dream for this God, for this architect. And ultimately, the character was never the character. The character was not bound by time, the character was not bound by space, the character was not bound by causality. All the fears that the character was experiencing was simply because of an illusion, and it was because of the misunderstanding of who they were. Now think about this in your own life experience. Every form of suffering that you experience currently comes from your identification with the body, mind, and your swabhava, your individual existence. All the fears that we go through is somehow tied to the fear of death. We somewhere believe that we are the body, and we believe somewhere that if the body dies, we die also. And that gives a tremendous sense of suffering. Our death is a big source of fear for us, and the death of our loved ones is also a big source of fear for us. And all the things that we try to do in this world, the accumulation of wealth, power, success, and so on, it's not that we should not do it, but we should not do it from a place of scarcity, but we should do it from a place of clarity and understanding. And that is what we will come to today. So this individual person is ultimately not limited by anything. He is not limited to this triangle, he is not limited to this circle, but he is the vast expanse of consciousness, the infinite potential that is in and through everything, and that has no birth to it, that has no death to it, and that has no boundary to it. And within this game, this character has the power to realize this, to realize that this ego is nothing. Actually, it is just an assumption, it is just a belief that I am the body and mind. This character, which is you, are nothing but the architect, the God. That's why the Upanishads say, Aham Brahmasmi. I am infinite, I am truly limitless. And this realization and this deep understanding is what Vedanta calls as liberation. Liberation, enlightenment, nirvana is nothing but the dissolution of the individual ego and the recognition that you are this entire black canvas, that is the source code of reality, that is the essence of reality, that is the consciousness. Now, with all this understanding, let's come to how we can alleviate suffering and how we can stop all forms of suffering due to poverty, due to sickness, due to health, and so on. And how can we live our ideal life and how we can actually win the game. So, there are two things that we need to understand when it comes to winning the game. One is simple, that we already discussed, which is about transcending this game and realizing that we are beyond the game altogether. So to win the game, we should transcend the game. We should understand that ultimately nothing within this triangle, nothing within this universe is going to fulfill us, and the source is actually within, and we are truly limitless. So that is the place of power and potential, which is about transcending the game. Second is about playing the game with this understanding. And this is what we call as conscious creation. Conscious creation is our unique process that we use at Adhvaitha Conscious Society, where we help professionals, entrepreneurs, and seekers to understand this reality thoroughly and to actually play this game of life. After understanding all this, you can still come into the game and actually play the game well. You can achieve success, you can achieve abundance, you can have good relationships, you can build the house, but you are not attached to anything. That is the key here. That's why we say be a monk at heart and a warrior in action. Have internal detachment, but be focused and intense when you approach work and life. And that is exactly what Sri Krishna taught Arjuna. That is the science of Karma Yoga. When we begin to move around this world and when we begin to interact with people, when we begin to achieve different things and build certain things within this universe, if we can do it in a detached way, where our internal state of being is completely detached from the external state of being, this is the ideal way to operate. And this is how we can win this game. And once you start detaching yourself, life is truly amazing because you don't care about anything anymore. What somebody says, what somebody does, what somebody expects of you, all that is irrelevant. You are not attached to things, you are not attached to outcomes. If tomorrow everything goes away, you are still fine because internally you know that this is just a game that is being played and you are the canvas, the consciousness behind. But yet, as a professional, as an entrepreneur, you're pursuing something, you're building something which is truly meaningful. Now, this is the essence of reality.